Welcome to The Lantern's Tale. Tonight's story is true, every word drawn from real events. Listen closely as we enter the haunted heart of Enfield, England. In the quiet suburb of Enfield, England, a small brick house on Green Street became the center of something unexplainable. The year was 1977. The Hodgson family, Peggy and her 4 children, had no idea that their home was about to become the stage for one of the most chilling hauntings in history. It began with a knocking. At first, Peggy thought it was just the pipes, an old house settling, but the knocks grew louder, sharper, echoing through the walls like a heartbeat. One night, 11-year-old Janet told her mother that her bed was shaking. Peggy went to check and saw it herself, the bed frame rattling against the floor. She thought it was her imagination, until the heavy chest of drawers in Janet's room moved on its own, sliding across the floor and blocking the door. That was just the beginning. The knocking turned to banging. Objects flew across the room. Toys would levitate and crash to the ground. The family heard voices, deep, guttural voices that didn't belong to any of them. Desperate, Peggy called the police. The officers who came were skeptical until they saw a chair slide across the floor by itself. One officer said later, "I just don't know what to make of it." Word spread, and investigators from the Society for Psychical Research came to see for themselves. Among them was Maurice Gross, who moved into the house to witness the events firsthand. He didn't have to wait long. At night, he heard the same knocking, 3 times. Always 3. He saw objects move on their own, and he heard the voice, a deep, gravelly voice that called itself Bill. It claimed to be the ghost of a man who had died in the house years before. It would speak through Janet, her lips barely moving, as the voice rasped out, "I am Bill. I lived here, I died here, and now I'm here to stay." Neighbors reported seeing Janet levitate, rising from her bed, eyes wide with terror. Photographs captured her suspended in the air, her face twisted in fright. Skeptics said it was a hoax, children playing tricks, but even they couldn't explain how Janet would be thrown across the room, or how objects would vanish and reappear in impossible places. Janet herself said she was scared. At night, she felt cold hands grabbing her, pulling her from the bed. She heard Bill's voice in her dreams, telling her she could never leave. The haunting went on for over a year. Dozens of witnesses, hundreds of strange events, some caught on tape, others only remembered in the terrified whispers of those who were there. Eventually, it stopped as suddenly as it began. The Hodgson family moved on, but the memories stayed. To this day, no one agrees on what really happened in that little house in Enfield. Was it a clever prank? Or was it something darker, something that reached out from the other side to claim a voice in our world? If you stand on Green Street now, the house looks ordinary, but they say the walls remember, the echoes of Bill's voice, the cries of children in the dark. They're still there, waiting for someone to hear them. Thank you for listening to The Lantern's Tale. If you enjoyed this true story, join us next time, if you dare.